August of 2014. I'm sitting here watching Lainey swing back and forth. As I'm watching her swing back and forth, it hit me. This is what I should be doing every day. I would leave work on my lunch break to play with the kids. I would eat lunch at my desk so I could utilize the time on my lunch break to actually spend with my family. Because I knew when I left work, I had other jobs lined up. I knew that break in my day was probably the only time I was going to get to see the family. It was at that moment that I knew I had to do something different. It was at that moment that I knew that Lainey, Hannah, Lawson, and our unborn Lyndon was going to be my future. I went back to work and sat that whole entire day saying something has to give. That night while in bed, Lainey asked me if I could stay home the next day. We wanted to go play. I said, "Sweetie, I can't. Daddy has to go to work." I had to explain to her what it meant to work, how you exchange time for money. It was the next morning when I woke up to go into Unum. I rolled over and Lainey was in our bed. She had this thing where she would like to come climb in bed with Mom and me. I kissed her on her forehead and told her I was heading to work. She grabbed my arm and she said, "Daddy, no, you don't have to go." I said, "Sweetie, Daddy has to go to work." She says, "Not today, Dad. I'm buying you." And she had her piggy bank on my nightstand. For her to want to give me all of the money in her piggy bank was a big deal. That was her fun money when we'd go out to eat, gumball machines, maybe a toy here and there. The whole ride to Unum, I was broke. I had actually broke down and cried on the side of the road that my daughter was willing to buy my time. Between that and the playground, I said, "This is it." And I put in my 2 weeks notice, and I never looked back. The greatest of all my accomplishments is being a dad. I know it's so cliche as a parent to say that. They're always like, my biggest accomplishment was having a kid. But for me, it truly is. Because without being a dad, I can promise you I wouldn't be in the situation I'm in today. My oldest daughter, Lainey, she's the one that kind of set the tone for our life. At 4 and 5 years old, the conversations that she had with me, the things that she wanted to do in her life, as she's getting older, the conversations she's having with me, and then seeing my other 2 kids, come up, it was like, wow, this is the blessing. This is my biggest accomplishment. And seeing how they're growing in their life, their attitude, their morals that they have, it truly is my biggest accomplishment. I know it sounds corny, but if it wasn't for them, I would not be sitting in this chair right now talking to you guys.
Life hasn't always been easy for me. It hasn't always been on a silver platter like it looks to most people now. There were times when I was pregnant with 2 kids and doing every single thing from 7 o'clock in the morning until they went to bed at night. Every single thing around the house, to making breakfast, playing Play-Doh, doing dance parties, doing everything, going to the park to give them some exercise to get out of the house. I look back and I literally went for 5 years never being alone in the car. I always had kids with me, which was not bad. I enjoyed every minute of it, but most people couldn't do that. Most people can't just say, I need to have a break and get the break. I didn't get the break. Andy was at work. It was my sole purpose to take care of the kids, and that was my job, and I enjoyed it. We made it fun. Our kids still this day look to me as being their friend. And in retrospect, that's pretty bad, but they look to me as being their friend because I've done everything with them, as far as going down slides, to playing in the mud, to us watching movies together. Life to them is wonderful, and I love that I gave them that. There were parts that sucked really, really bad, to where I only got like 3 or 4 hours of sleep. I had screaming kids because one would be sick, one would want me to hold them, and it was really hard because even though I was married, I lived a single mom life of being at home constantly with 2 or 3 kids, 2 kids pregnant. It wasn't hard for me because I have really amazing pregnancies. But to most people, it would be very hard to be doing everything I do or did with 2 kids and being pregnant. There are times where I didn't get my hair done for years. I didn't get my nails done for years. My workout was my Wii Fitness on my TV while Lainey took a nap. And it worked perfect. She took a nap, I worked out, I got my workout in, and then sometimes she would want to go for a walk and we'd get in the stroller and we would go down the street to a big neighborhood that had lots of hills and we would get exercise. I mean, they were my sole purpose and my work. Even though I didn't get paid, that was my job, was to do every single thing for them while Andy worked and worked and worked to achieve the goals that he wanted. I wanted him to achieve them so bad that I told him I had this. I told him that my job was the kids and his job was to provide for us. And it worked. There are times when I literally thought I was going to lose my mind. I don't know how I didn't get gray hair until COVID, but I didn't. But I just kept pushing through and I didn't want to look weak. I didn't want to look like I couldn't do it. I didn't want to look like I needed him to help me. Even though probably it would have been nice sometimes of just letting him put them to bed. But no, mom has to do it, which is fine. I mean, I'll look back when they're older and I'll be like, they had to have me. And that's just how it was. I enjoyed every bit of the hard times that most people could not do. But it was fun. We made everything fun. And that's why they love it and I loved it. When Lainey was 5 and Lawson was 3.5 and Lyndon was 18 months, that was our first date. We had an amazing babysitter. We have an amazing babysitter family that has always taken care of our kids really well. Lyndon was 18 months old before we got to go on our first date as far as having all 3 kids. We didn't like to leave them. I didn't like to leave them. And we got to a point where they were very comfortable with our babysitter and we felt very comfortable with her. Other than that, I was with them every waking part of their day. They didn't go to daycare. They didn't go to daycare or anything until Lainey was in pre-K and she started at 4.5, almost 5. So I did all the changing of the diapers, I did all the food, I did all the play dates, I did all of the dog walking, all of the dog grooming, every single thing that you can think of as a mom that does, I did it. And I just, as a mom, my mom just instilled in me to just be very strong-willed and to just do it by myself. And I'm glad she did, because if not, I would have probably crumbled and had lots and lots of breakdowns of, okay, I've been with you guys for 24 hours. You've seen your dad for a couple hours because dad has been working, but I need him. I need him to help take care of you. I wasn't like that. I just knew that I could do it. So I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing to show them that this is what moms are. They are strong-willed. They can do it all by themselves. And you don't need the help of your mom or your dad or your stepmom or whatever. I did it all by myself. There were times where I would meet up with my mother-in-law or my mom and they would watch them for a couple of hours, but that was very rare. It was usually just me doing it all. There are going to be really, really hard times when you feel like you can't do it, and you just have to keep being strong and just know that you're going to get to the end point. And regardless if you don't sleep but 3 or 4 hours, or you're playing in the floor with Play-Doh for hours, or you're not seeing your husband for days on end, or maybe a couple of hours here, and you're doing every single thing with your children so that your husband can do all of the financial of the house and you be just with your kids, and that's your job, then that's what you have to do. You're gonna have to just go through the dirt and the mud and feel like you're dying sometimes as far as how non-energy you have, but that's just what you do. It's not going to always be easy. You're going to go through times where you feel like you need to just go sit at a coffee shop by yourself and just be by yourself if you have kids and you need to have a break, but not always the case for everybody. I didn't have that. I was with them nonstop, and you just do it. You don't give up. Now to come completely full circle, when we shut down our last brick and mortar business in March, we were able to all be together all the time. We are now together nonstop, all 5 of us. I homeschool the children. He still does his trading in the morning and does different classes for that, but we are together all of the time. We go on vacations very sporadically. We go to Atlanta for the day because we want to go shopping, or we go to Knoxville because we like a restaurant up there. Life just kind of goes where we want to go. And I never thought that life would be that way, but that's our life. It's pretty calm, pretty chill. Just go with the flow.
My biggest regret being with where I'm at now is not soaking in all the moments as much as I wanted to with my family. There was so much hustle and grind and just pushing the envelope that I missed out on a lot with my parents, my grandparents, even Lainey. For the first 4 years of her life, I didn't really see her much. I got to see her during lunch. You guys will see that more and more throughout this documentary that we're doing. But during lunch, Hannah would bring her to my work, and we would go to the playground, we'd go to the aquarium, the Discovery Arts Museum, sometimes just eating. And being able to see my wife and my daughter during my lunch break was the highlight of the day. So looking back, it's like I wish I would have been there for more of that. I wish I got to spend more time with my parents. My parents have gotten older in life, so they're not able to do the things that they once could have done, rewind back those years. And I wish me and Hannah would have had kids a little, younger. We had kids later in life. We were in our late 20s, and being able to see my grandparents and all of them in their prime would have been amazing for me. So I do have those regrets, but while saying that, I also have to be thankful for where we're at now. Being able to be a stay-at-home dad and mom and be with the kids every single day. It's a statistic that sets in my mind heavy right now. I made a post on Instagram about it. The average parent is with their kids around 120 to 140 minutes a day. That's not quality time. That means actually with them in the same room or in the same car. I'm with my kids from the start of the day, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, until 10, 11 o'clock at night. If it's a business trip, they're going with us. If it's a business meeting, they're going with us. If it's a vacation, obviously they're with us. They're with us every single day. So the average of 2 hours a day, I'm seeing mine on average 12 to 15 hours a day. So basically when you do the math, for every week of the average dad right now is just 1 day equivalent to me. So being able to see that number now puts a relief, in my mind that yes, it sucked. I have those regrets, but fast forward now, I'm able to make up for it 10 times fold. My grandparents, my dad was friends with her grandparents, so it kind of we were together. I didn't know who this girl was walking towards me. I just knew she looked cute, a little mini skirt, white t-shirt on, and as she got closer, I was like, oh crap, that's Hannah. She was like, Andy. He was like, how long have y'all been dating? And I was like, we're not dating. He was like, yeah, you are, son. You're going to dinner with each other, vacations, you're hanging out almost every single night together. Do you think we're dating? She's like, no. It was almost like she was disgusted with it, that we wasn't dating. And I was like,